All right, here we go. Let's continue these lessons. First of all, we are on number 18 out of 25 lessons on growth mindset, taken from a guy named Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory. These are his 25 things he thinks you need to have in order to have a growth mindset. This is number 18. It's have very clear goals. Pretty straightforward. Have very clear goals. That's it. That's what number 18 is. And so we start off by looking at this. I asked you some questions as far as what I was trying to get from you or trying to tease out of your maybe some goals that you have. Now, I understand that you guys are in 8th grade and the biggest goal you may have at this particular time in your life is to not be embarrassed by somebody or not to or to maybe have a certain boy or girl talk to you. That might be it. Or maybe just to pass a class. I don't know what your goals are. It's been forever since I've been your age. But I think back when I was your age, I don't remember having any clear-cut goals. But that's something you want to try to do as soon as possible. And I'll explain why as soon as possible. Knowing this, that if you have certain goals you're working toward, you can change those goals. It's not something that's set in stone for the rest of your life. Just thinking back my own life, man, I can't tell you how many different jobs I had. I didn't become a teacher until I was 30 and all these things. And so it's okay to change your goals. I changed my major in college like 3 or 4 times. It's okay to change them. But you want to have goals because they point you in a certain direction. Because if you're not pointing in a certain direction in your life, you're just kind of going through life. And if you're just kind of going through life, you're not going to end up anywhere where you want to be at. So here's a couple of things to think about. When it comes to humans, comes to us, we are driven by 2 things. We are either driven towards something, a goal, or we're trying to run away from something that we don't want. Give you an example. Maybe you're not happy with your home life or whatever might be going on. Parents are fighting, arguing, and all you can ever think about is, I want to get out. If that is you, then what's pushing you forward in life is that you're trying to run away from something, and that's okay. You're trying to run away from something. But then also the same thing, you might be thinking to yourself, and this was me. This was me when I was 17, 18, 19. I remember saying over and over and over again, all I ever want is to find somebody to love me, to have the family, the life, the cool family that you would see on TV that I didn't have. And that's what was pulling me toward it. So I was trying to run away from what I wasn't happy with and moving toward what I thought I wanted. That's human nature. Now the problem is this. If you're not able to identify those 2 things, you're just going through life with no purpose. And I promise you, if you're just going through life with no purpose, you're never going to reach a point where you're happy in your life. You're just not going to. We are built by whatever you want to say we're built by, but we are built to seek happiness. All right? And we do it in all sorts of crazy ways. So keep that in mind. What are some goals you have? And so the questions I have up here says, do you want to go to college? That is to see if that's something of interest to you. Here's the reality. You may not want to go to college. As a teacher, I'm going to tell you this right now. That's okay. You do not have to go to college to be successful. You do not have to go to college to be happy. You don't have to. But here's what I will tell you. This is my son. My son has said, what do you want to do? I don't know. Well, if you don't want to know what you want to do, then go to college. Because that at least gives you a foundation, so that way when you find out what you do want, you're better off ahead of kind of other people. So do something, right? Do something that moves you in a certain direction. And if you don't know what you want, if you do want to go to college, why do you want to go to college? That's the problem. People say, I want to go to college. Well, why do you want to go to college? Because I want to get a job. Why do you want to get a job? Because I want to be happy. Well, can you be happy without going to college? Yeah, then do you really need to go to college? Really dive in. What do you want out of life? And if you do not know what you want out of life, if you do not want to go to college, what do you want to do? If you do not know what you want, try to identify what you don't want. If you don't know what's going to pull you in a certain direction, then at least be able to identify what you don't want so you can move away from it. The point is you're moving in a certain direction. That's part of the point here. And the other thing is this. The sooner you find it out what you want to do, the better. I listened to once all these different podcasts. There was this guy named Alex Hermosi, and he said this. I love how he said this. He says he wanted to be rich. He wanted to be a millionaire. And so he had other people that are millionaires and everything else. I was going to go around that way, sir. And what he found out, he says, the most expensive thing he called was a stupid tax. Because think about it. If your goal is to be a millionaire when you're 25, every year that you're not moving towards your goal, it's costing you $1 million. Just have a seat anywhere, sir. That's fine. Think about it. So if my goal is to be a millionaire when I'm 25, every year I'm not moving towards that goal, it's costing me $1 million. So I'm 1 year away from reaching that goal, 1 year further down the road from that goal. So he says, everybody needs to pay down this stupid tax. Meaning that you need to learn what it's going to take to get you where you want to as quickly as possible. And the only way to do that is by moving in a certain direction, by going towards a goal. I looked it up here before class started, thinking about this. 2 examples. Probably the most famous YouTuber is MrBeast. I think is probably the most famous one, the richest guys out there as far as YouTube goes. And I don't know if you know this, but most people see where he is today. But to get where he's at today, do you know how many years he had to post video after video after video with no real money coming in, no real recognition, nothing, just sticking? He had to pay his stupid tax. He had to put the effort in to get better each video. How long would you be willing to work at something to get better? Knowing that you may not see the results for 5-10 years. MrBeast, 5 years. He paid the stupid tax 5 years, getting better each time he got better. It wasn't until about 5 years into it, they finally had a video that went viral, and then from there, he finally started finding success. 5 years. If he would have waited till so he started, I think when he was like 13 or something like that, and so 5 years, by the time he's 18, he was finally able to do something well with it. But he had to pay that tax. If you're just going through life, the longer you wait to pay that tax, the longer you wait to learn, to grow, to get better, it's only going to delay what your goals are. Kobe Bryant. He joined the NBA when I think he was 18. Does anybody know how old he was when he first started playing basketball? 3. 1, 2, 3. That is 15 years of consistent hard work since he was 3 to finally get to a point where he could do something with those skills. He paid that tax 15 years. He paid that stupid tax getting better. A little confession. The more I'm doing this growth mindset and I think to myself, what's holding people back, I'm less convinced that it's a growth mindset and more convinced that it's people not able, it's self-discipline. I think that's what holds most people back. Looking at grades, self-discipline. There's no secret to getting good grades besides putting the effort in. You could be the least smartest person at school and you can still pass all your classes if you put the effort in. Self-discipline. I think that is the biggest problem people have. So, last bit of advice. Find out what you are interested in. If you can't find out what you're interested in, find out what you're not interested in. If you don't know what you want to work towards, then find out what you don't want to work towards. What don't you want your life to be like? And then once you have that figured out, you want to have some very clear goals. And we'll talk more about that later on.